Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Hello, guys. It's Sam here. I know for a lot of you, this is the first time seeing me face to face. I'd like to tell all of you welcome and thank you for everything. Thank you for over 100 subscribers. I really appreciate that and all the views that you've been giving my videos. But this preamble is about something a little bit more important. It has come to my attention that there are people in our community that are struggling with addiction, and that is a very serious topic. As shmuppers and arcade players, we all like to ride the fine line between life and death. That is not a healthy way to live in life, though. And I know that it can be fun, and I know that it can be risky, but I was a heroin addict for 20 years. I've had 5 years sober, but it's an everyday struggle. And if you ever want to talk, I'm here. There are ways to get in touch with me in the video description and in my bio. So other than that, if you need immediate help, I will list either in the video or in the description hotline numbers. And I know that that sounds like bullshit, but they actually are there for a reason. I know that if I didn't step out and make a snap judgment on getting clean for myself, then I would have never done it, and I might not even be here today. So I just want everybody to know in the community that I feel you, I'm there for you, and if you ever need anything, just ask. Anyways, after that heavy and probably inappropriate preamble, on with the fun part. Hey guys, welcome to Aleste month on my channel, apparently. That's what it feels like. Between Zanek, the Blaze of Storm, one that I haven't posted yet, and this one, it feels like I'm on an Aleste kick, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So yeah, this is M2's GG Aleste 3, directed and composed by Manabu Namiki, who, if you don't know who that is, he has done your favorite shmup soundtracks like Battle Garega, Armed Police Batrider. He did the sound for Tsukio Gurentai, even though Hitoshi Sakamoto did the music for it. Yeah, so apparently this was like in development hell for years and years and years. At least this is just all the information I have, but it was in development hell for years and years and years, and he was kind of took it over so it would be released. I'm being a pussy in this one and playing with the slowdown on. I tried to clear with the slowdown off, and I can get to about the final level before I just get my ass kicked, and I could probably clear with it. But I do, like I said in my Batrider video, I do have standards that I kind of like to live up to, and I don't like to look like too much of a bitch whenever I post my videos, because, you know, I like to have a little bit of, I like to make myself look good, at least a little bit. So yeah, I get prepared for 10 minutes of this to be slowdown, pretty much induced by it emulating a Game Gear. So I do really like this Aleste quite a bit, actually all the handheld ones, because it feels a lot less like, that's one thing I really like about the Aleste series compared to Zanek, because Zanek doesn't really have those big set pieces like Aleste does. I know that's why people really like Musha. That's why people really like this one, is it actually seems to have like levels, and I know that's kind of like, you know, sounds like I'm talking shit, but go back and watch my Zanek Neo clear, and it's pretty much just, you know, shooting people over backdrops. So on every level, there's going to be the ability to get a perfect. So what that means is that in each level, there is like something that you can do that if you complete that, you get a perfect, and it stacks. So, like, I'll get the perfect in this one, and then I'll get the perfect in the next one, and then if I keep going, then it stacks, and that's really how you're going to get, like, the big score, other than killing bosses, and also killing waves, like, by destroying entire waves of ships, you get bonus points. There is a lot of RNG when it comes to certain attacks. on enemies. So, like, sometimes that guy launches missiles that, like, explode depending on how you shoot them or where they land. He didn't end up doing it to me that time. So, it's so pretty for a handheld game. And one thing I really appreciate is M2's work on the gadgets. So now, because I am covering an M2 game, I get to gush about M2 a little bit. Out of all the companies, especially like larger non-Dojin or non-indie companies that are making shmups nowadays, M2 is like the best, in my opinion. They seem to take the best care in their games. They seem to take like a lot of love and attention is really put into these instead of just releasing them willy-nilly with no like features. The emulation, actually they don't really technically do emulation. It's more like a Mister kind of hardware kind of thing from how I understand it. But yeah, they definitely put their shit out in their correct frame rate. Raiden Fighters remix. Haha. Thought I'd throw a little shade there because that is the fucking worst release that I have been around for. It feels like a big slap in the face. So I know that a lot of you guys that have been around for a minute are more used to it. So also, this is not a game that I'm comfortable at using every weapon at, like I am at Zenek Neo or some of the other Aleste games. There are certain ones that all of the weapons are good and can be used in almost every situation. You'll see me sticking with C, R, and T a lot. Those are my favorites. A is really good because it actually deletes bullets as well, just like D and F do. So you saw that I got the perfect right there by killing all those blue guys. I tried to look up and see if there was a guide to where the perfects are, and I'm sure they're probably in like a Jamer's video or something like that. But no, I didn't do that much research into it. I wanted to kind of figure it out myself, which for me is half the fun of these. I'm not one of the people that believes that like watching a replay is cheating or anything like that, but I like to watch a replay for different reasons than most people watch replays. I watch replays for entertainment. I don't watch replays for knowledge, if that makes any sense at all. I have been talking to the Hidden Fortress almost every day for a while, and we talk about stuff like that we like the drama behind a good replay, and that it's almost like watching a movie, especially when ones are close or ones are like super high scoring ones, where you know most of what you're doing but not all, so there still are some surprises around every corner. So me and my daughter call this guy Crab Bad because it kind of rhymes with Crab Dad. It's a really long, stupid inside joke, but he can be very annoying the first couple times you fight him, because he didn't even do this attack for like the first 10 or 15 times I fought him. So he'll bring up his hand and slash. You need to be on that side when he slashes and go into the corner. And then he's going to switch to the other side every time. So next time it's going to be his right side. Well, if he makes it to it. If you got the rising laser, you can just cut through him like Swiss cheese. Terra Diver, which I think is funny because I started noticing that a lot of these seem to be named after other games. Because Tsukio Garentai's English title is Terra Diver. Also, this looks a lot like Tsukio Garentai's like Navy level. The shield is such a godsend in this game because it can be so easy for... Your hitbox is not as large as you think it is, but it is larger than you think it is at the same time, if that makes any sense. There's times when I thought I could dodge certain things, and it's not as small as I would be led to like feel it is. And then sometimes I would think it would be enormous, and I would just like skate by something, and I'd be like, okay, well, and it would kind of give me the wrong, like idea of what was, like the size of my hitbox. Sorry, sometimes it's hard to commentate these because I end up losing myself in watching my own self play. And especially when I have the music on, because Namiki's music is just so good. It's so good. I can't believe, man, his first soundtrack was Battle Garega. At least from everything I've read. I mean, talk about coming out the gate swinging. Like, it really, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't want to do any more soundtracks after that, because I'd be like, oh, well, there's no way that I can get any better than that. And then to go and do DOJ, like, afterwards, that's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. I have a bunch of videos on the back burner that I'm trying to clear right now. I'd really like to do a Pro Gear clear. Now that I know how to score with it, and for that I have Actane to thank, because I watched his like quick and dirty video he did a while ago on how to score with Pro Gear. So I really have him to thank for that quite a bit, because that can be kind of hard to understand the way most people will explain it. So yeah, this, just like any other Aleste or Zanuck game, has power-up invincibility, and you are going to be using that to the best of your ability to try to get through certain kind of harder patterns. So I don't want to pick up D right here. I don't want to pick up the defense shield, because it doesn't work bad on here, but it is hard to get those guys. This dude is one of the first big roadblocks, because he'll throw these barrels. If there is my only complaint in this game is the visibility can be hot garbage sometimes. For most of the time, whenever I was newer and playing this, I couldn't tell you what was killing me there. I mean, I see it now because he throws those barrels. Those barrels explode down the screen, and so it creates like an area of denial, and it can be hard to kind of like guess how large those are going to be. So right here, I either take in T or R, because killing all of the tanks is the perfect on this one. And there's like 3 lines of them, and they can be kind of hard to do because they go in and out of the screen. There's more than you think there are. This is a very unassuming clear. Because just like I said, I'm not really into clears anymore. I caught the scoring bug, which I think that's hilarious, because Hidden Fortress said that in his newest video as well. But yeah, I caught the scoring bug, and I'm not really interested in just skating by anymore. There's certain games where I'm like, it is more about the experience than it is about scoring. I feel that way with Batrider at the moment. Because scoring can be so esoteric in that one, with all the weird things you have to do for a good score. But whenever I posted my Double Blade, well, I'll tell you the story behind it. So I was part of Shoot the Core's Discord's Double Blade reboot. They have like monthly caravan scoring things on there, right? And I saw that they were doing Double Blade Reboot, and I fucking love Double Blade Reboot. So I was like, okay, well, I'll be involved in it. I regularly score, 15, 16, 17 million on that. So, it'll be scored, but people will do better than me. And I scored, and a bunch of people were like, holy shit, that is a beast-ass score. And then I looked on Restart Syndrome, and it most certainly was scored a lot higher than I thought it was. And I was very humbled by it. I did not think that I had done that well on it. I'd always thought of myself as a newer guy. There's no way that I could ever be good at these, not with how young I am when it comes to getting into these. But somebody on there was like, hey man, you need to upload a replay and maybe some commentary, because I'm really interested in, I really want to see how you did it, how you got that score. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And I got my shitty condenser mic, and you know, you can literally hear my wife like eating in the background of that first video, and I'll probably end up redoing that, like I do, like I will be doing my Grand Cross renovation clear as well, because I want to do a maximum risk clear on that, because I think I can score about another 100 million better. But yeah, I recorded it and then posted it, and I remember I'm not the kind of person that likes seeing my own videos a lot, or not necessarily videos. I didn't really have that as a mark there yet, but you know, I'm not like fully into myself, I guess. But I remember rewatching it over, and it was so weird watching myself, and it was so cool watching myself, because it felt like watching somebody else do it, because it doesn't feel that cool when you're doing it, or sometimes it does. But then you're rewatching it over, and you're like, oh my god, that's so cool that I did that right there, blah, blah, blah. And the amount of people that I got on that Discord that were like, that was really awesome, it was so cool seeing you. It felt really nice. It felt really nice to have people saying all these things to me, and how much it helped them, how much, you know, it was, you know, cool seeing somebody that was kind of down to earth talk about these things. And so then, you know, I not only caught the scoring bug, but I caught the video bug as well. And I love doing these. I love talking about these games. I could talk about these games every day for the rest of my life, all day. All day. I love these games so much. And so after that, it was, you know, Grand Cross Innovation, and then on the Zenith Neo, and not long after that, you know, here we are now. And, you know, I can't thank all of you enough for sticking around. Speaking of sticking around, we still have 30 minutes left of this, so go grab some popcorn and, you know, hang out with me a little bit. But, yeah, I don't want anybody to ever think that, like, because you don't make any money doing this. This is all for the love of what you do and how you do it. You know, like I work a full-time job just like everybody else, and I have children, you know, so I could probably find quote-unquote better uses for my time, but I choose to do this. I choose to play games, and I choose to talk to the community, and I choose to, you know, release these videos, and it's my hobby. It's what I love doing. You know, I'm to the point to where I like making videos now just as much as I love, you know, playing these games. I have so many cool ideas that I can't wait to share with you guys, that, you know, I'm experimenting with editing now, and not just releasing just like raw runs with my voice over them. So, you know, I'm really excited to share those with you, and I hope you guys stick around. And if not, that's okay too. One of my favorite things about this is something that me and Spiders talked about a long time ago. I love the pilot in the side of the gutter over there that like reacts to certain things. You know, it's really cool, you know, seeing your pilot in more than just like the opening. I remember the first time I learned about like the stories to a lot of these. You know, sometimes you don't even see your pilot in games like this, you know? So it's cool to see her react to stuff. And I think there was like a shmup porn game that some of you guys might know about that had something similar to that, where your ship would get hit and her breasts would like jiggle and stuff, and it was just, I was like, why can't we do that but without the porn? So these things, I'm pretty sure green keeps you from firing and the blue halts your movement a little bit more. I'm not really sure. With comfort mode off right here, it makes the sprite flicker really bad, so I'm not even sure if I'm firing the whole time. That sprite flicker can be pretty egregious whenever you're really just laying it on them at 30 hertz. Oh, also, would you guys recommend a Panzer stick? I've been hearing about them a lot recently, and some people I've been talking to have been playing them, and I have an F700 right now, which is the best piece of hardware I've ever gotten. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Would you recommend a Panzer stick? So the perfect on this one is going to be killing all of the spiders that are falling from the rocket. Not the ones that are like hanging down on their butts, but the ones that you shoot and then fall. Killing those guys is super important. The only reason I don't get the perfect on this one is because you really have to have R to do it and have really great positioning to do it. However, this level, for me at least, is 10 times harder. Yeah, I missed that one right there. I would have gotten it if I hadn't. If you're not using Chaser. So I'll show you what I mean here in a second, if I can grab it. Okay, so with the enemy Chaser here, not only does it slow down the game quite a bit and make it quite a bit easier, but these guys will ram you. They not only shoot missiles, but they also will try to ram you. And it is such bullshit. So not only does the Chain Chaser help me do damage on them instead of just having to like square up with them, in which they'll try to like drop back on you, but it also helps me identify where they're going to be, because I can see where the Chain Chaser is like headed towards, and then I can kind of be knowledgeable that that is where the enemy is. Also, another reason I make these commentated runs is because there are more to these games. I know we all know this, but it is very much thought that these are simple games. And, that's everybody else's loss, because there is so much nuance to these games that luckily we all recognize. But I had like found a, because I'm always looking for shmup stuff to watch. There's just not a ton of it. And there was like a YouTube short that was recommended to me that was like the difference between Bullet Hell and Bullet Heaven. And this one guy was talking about it, and I guess he meant like he was talking about Vampire Survivors or something, some bullshit like that. And the guy was like, okay, so I got it. So like a Bullet Heaven, you are you're doing damage, and a Bullet Hell, you're just dodging. Okay, got it. And I'm like, man, you could not have fucking missed the point any harder than if it sailed over your goddamn head. Because, there was nothing about, like, target acquisition. There was nothing about routing. There was nothing about memorization. There was nothing about just difference in mechanics between games. Because, yes, you might shoot shit in all these games, but there is so much more to it than that. Whether it's the chaining in Dodonpachi, or killing certain enemies like it is to get perfects in this, and the power-up invincibility, or Mushihime-sama's 1.5 and Futari and Devil Blade Reboot's point blanking for score, or Ketsui's point blanking for score. The Disco Stews in Dangan Feveron. Not all of them are just destroy everything. Like and even in that, there's a lot of nuance to it. Been playing a lot of Rapid Hero lately, and even though it is a little bit more on the simple side, It's such a fun game. It is such a fun game. And Viper Phase 1 can fuck off, because I've been trying so hard to get a clear on that. Watching Chinopolis' video and taking some of his things that he's been doing there, like trying to point blank the bosses during like their startups and stuff. And god damn, that game is not easy. It is a blast, because the music in it is amazing and the visuals are amazing, but it is a pain in the ass to try to clear. And it's even a bigger pain in the ass to try to get a high score on, because it also goes by enemy destruction. And sometimes it's just hard to fucking kill every enemy in it. Every boss part and all this other shit. So I would say after this level, that's when the real game starts. The game is pretty much mostly a cakewalk up until here. But yeah, it does not fuck around after this. This was the first boss that really gave me trouble coming up into it. He takes your sub weapon, and so it's just you and your power-up shot. Or your power shot, I'm sorry, not your power-up shot. I can't believe I dodged these like this, like going on the inside, because I've seen even Mark do it, and he like would go on the outside on some of them, but he spawns based on your position, so if you fuck up your positioning at all, it's shoop. Shoop. That wasn't gonna do it the third time. I know there's a story about you being like the last Aleste fighter that gets launched off the thing at the beginning. It's a pretty cool story, but it's not as cool as, like, you know, I think of like my favorite shmup stories like Mushihime-sama, both it and Futari. Some of the storytelling in Dodonpachi, Battle Garega's story, Armed Police Batrider story, Tsukio Garentai's story. Really, for me, Rising was the king of like not only worded but also wordless storytelling in shmups. They just knew how to make a world that feels real. I mean, you know, think about it. Tsukio Garentai is not about saving the world. It's not about, you know, fucking beating off an enemy invasion or anything. It's about being a corporate mercenary. That's literally, you know, that's what you're doing. Is you're not a great guy at the end of the day. Also, you know, I like to keep my lines of communication open for anybody, because one of the reasons I like posting these on a public platform like YouTube is to hear from you guys, you know, in more than just comment sections. I love talking to people about what they like about the genre and their favorite games and, you know, various other things, you know. Comment section can feel kind of cold sometimes. It can feel detached, and I like actually talking to people, especially for somebody that is as antisocial as myself. You know, wanting to talk to somebody is a fucking miracle for me, you know. Alright, so here comes the perfect section that has the thing that you have to kill all of. Right after you destroy this guy, he's going to spawn a bunch of little bugs, and those little bugs you have to destroy before they run away. It can be a little difficult, but so watch. So I actually hold off on firing for a second, and then I do a sweep, and I almost didn't get it, but man, it was so fucking close. so fucking close. So those guys right there marked the first enemies that pretty much tells you the game is not fucking around anymore. There will be some annoying point-blank and ass enemies that are going to test your patience, that are going to test your knowledge on power-ups and your routing when it comes to that, of always keeping something on the screen, always keeping something dropping. You really have to know your P's and Q's from here. You can pretty much get through the rest of the game without routing before this. This is where people start having issues, like even people that are skilled. It turns into a bullet hell game at this point. Of enemies coming right up next to you and then fucking, point blanking you. Which, I would say is not fair, but it just depends on the game. And I know for the longest time I wasn't getting on with it because I was trying to kind of like force the issue and trying to, make what I wanted to do work, which you can do most of the time with games. But with this one, and especially in the situations that I'm talking about here later on, most certainly not. It wants you to play a certain way during these sections, and it is going to make it to where it's impossible to do anything else other than that. I'll tell you what enemies I'm talking about, especially whenever they come up. They should be on the last level. This guy was like, I would make it past the last boss that we fought and then make it to this guy, and for some reason, especially with those little things that explode, that laser goes through your shield if you get hit. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a shield, it doesn't matter if you don't, it's an instant kill. It'll go right through you, and that's such horseshit. That is such horseshit. Yeah, more of these explodey things that explode suicide bullets. Like, I like that it gives you visual information for when you have a shield, but also it makes me feel like my hitbox is fucking enormous. This background right here reminds me of Over Object, which in that background is just pretty much just like the whole game, which Over Object is pretty much just a showing that the NES can do some crazy shit. It's more of a tech demo than it is a game. I do still really enjoy it. It reminds me of like a NES version of Chorin Shaw. But yeah, I'm getting closer and closer to the end of Tsukioka Rentai, which, I already have a thumbnail for that made up because that's one of my favorite games just to play. I was kind of expecting it to be... I play the Otokyo version, which is a tiny bit easier than the arcade version. But I love that fucking game so much. Honestly, if I could just talk about that and Bat Rider just all the time, I probably would. I could probably talk about those games for days without taking a breath. So, Wave 7, last level. In through the wormhole. Now the next 13 minutes are this level. It is punishing, to say the least. A lot of players I've talked to, this is what's keeping them from the 1cc. Is kind of how insane this level is. And it most certainly is. I have not taken a death yet, and then this level starts just butt-fucking me with no lube. Especially being so proud that I kept my shot level up. And yes, I had taken some shield hits, but you know how cool it would have been to be able to put the title of this as Aleste No Miss? Oh, man. I was just dreaming about that in my brain and being like, oh yeah, y'all suck my dick. No Miss Aleste. Especially with how fresh I am to all this shit. It's just nice to kind of rub it in people's faces that people can learn fast. Which I always like doing. I always like being that guy that is unassuming. The guy that you always underestimate. Yeah, talk about single-digit frame rates. So do not get in front of those guys as soon as you think you can get there and get them before they can get a shot off at you. Nope, they will always get a shot off at you. And if they make it to the top of the screen, they will start doing like triangular shots. So it's a fucking pain in the ass. You're about to see it in a second. Now, I don't know what the perfect is on this one. I want to give him some space. You know, talking to some fools earlier about this, but I would love to see an anime of a shmup. Like, there's certain points when I'm at work and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I put my headphones in and I listen to the Giga soundtrack, and I close my eyes and I just imagine it in like the style of like Studio Madhouse or you know, something like that, and it's so cool, you know, especially like listening to like the Cloud Stage song and just imagining a just a really badass like 90s ass, you know, anime to it. So pretty much as soon as those turrets open up, they fire. That's what I was talking about the thinking you had time when you didn't. So having the defense shield right here can help out quite a bit, even though it won't get rid of like the little Skittles shots. It will get rid of their shots. And especially having it up at max level like I do now, it really helps. The only thing I can think of that might do just as good as the firewall. I think the only compile game I like the defense shield in is Spriggan. Spriggan and Musha, because you can actually fire with the defense shield, and I think you can do that in GG Aleste, either 1 or 2 as well. I like when it becomes an offensive and a defensive weapon. It's about to be death time. But honestly, I wasn't even mad when I took a death here because I'd done better than I'd ever had. Usually I die during that tank section, so I was super impressed that I'd made it this far. I think I'd just gotten off work and my wife was asleep behind me. And she was like, "Oh, I missed it." And I was like, "It's okay, baby." Because I played it so many times without clearing. And so, you know, just one of those things where you don't expect you're going to do it, and then you just do it all of a sudden. Those fucking things suck so bad. I don't know how I avoided that bullet, but yeah, it was a close call. And I'm glad I picked up A right there because it helps me with, like, getting a lot of these guys taken care of. I would have done good here if I had routed properly. Yep. That's what fucked me right there. I would have made it right through the worm boss coming up here if I hadn't taken that shield hit. Because I decided to keep the laser, I do a lot of damage on this guy real quick. Because if you don't, he starts to try to surround you and blowing up. And he takes forever. It makes just an awful, awful sound whenever you're like hitting the invincible part of him. It is not pleasant. I also love how deaths in this will just really rub it in your face. They'll turn the fucking screen the photo negative for a minute. And it's like, yes, I know, I died. Thanks for rubbing it in. Appreciate it. So when you die, you level down 1 in your shot and then 1 in your sub-weapon. That's all sub-weapons, which is kind of annoying, especially after I felt like Zenek Neo had done it kind of properly, that your sub-weapons level up independently. Watching this is nerve-wracking because there's certain parts where I'm like, I know I could have done better, but at this point I was so tired of the game that I was just ready to put it down. This part sucks. I hate these guys. They're my least favorite enemies in the entire game. You can destroy them, but usually that sound means you're not doing any damage. So it was just always really confusing to me. Here we go. For some reason, I thought they killed me. This guy's not as hard as he seems at first. This is a pretty easy first phase. The second phase is good as long as you have this weapon and you kill the little dots that like appear. Or no, not this phase. This phase is he summons guys. If you can kill all these guys, then this is your perfect for the final level. So it's just really, timing it right, timing your shot right, having proper positioning. See, that's all I needed to be able to get my score to where I was second place on Restart Syndrome. Which I wanted to be first place, but we can't always have our cake and eat it too, Yeah, see how those little things he summons like shoot those lasers? Yep. I thought for some reason I was going to kill it before it got me, but and this is the hardest section of this boss. Those triangles he shoots are their hitbox is a lot larger than you think it is. And also, he does like the fucking Blackheart shit, where he like moves and you have to move with him. It's just hard to guess where they're going to be by first knowledge, especially when he does this right here. Okay, I think I see what it does now, but it's hard in the moment to really guess where he's going to be. So now I'm like leveled down so much, but luckily that was it for him. So, am I happy with what I did? Yes. Do I think I could do better? Only by a little bit, which is why I was more than happy to post this and show it off a little bit. All right, everybody, clap for Namiki, because he's the only reason that this game it was not vaporware from what I've read. So I think this is his first game as director, which is pretty crazy. Because he had only done scoring through then. Then Mr. Nakashima. And M2 just, man. I said I was going to gush over them for longer, but I ended up not. So, and I guess now's my time. Even their like releases that I would consider kind of beneath them, like Salamander 3. on the Gradius Origins collection are still amazing. You know, especially when you have such a large shadow to live up to like they do. That just because it's disappointing for M2, it's still 90% better than anything else anybody else brings out. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you to M2. And where's my fucking Batrider report? God damn it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, y'all need to release Batrider. I would take that or Tsukio Garentai or DDP. You know, I know that Cave was asking for the campaign PCB on Twitter lately, and a lot of people are like, does that mean there's an M2 shot triggers coming? And we can only pray, but a lot of people brought up that it could mean that EXA bought the rights to it, which is, you know, I mean, most of y'all already know how I feel about EXA Arcadia, and it's nothing good. So, you know, maybe I'll get into that in a different video. But, yeah, the artwork on this is amazing. I love gadgets. Now it's hard for me to play anything that doesn't have a gadget just because they are useful. Not only in the time, but also whenever you're running it back on your replays to show you why stuff is or isn't working. I know the gadgets on Ketsui really show a lot that you wouldn't know that if you didn't have them, like how much damage you're doing, how close you are, like to enemies, and where you're spawning chips. You know, I love seeing a next extend. I mean, this is the shit that made me happy about the double action release of Blue Revolver. So, yeah, the gadgets are just the shit. I think every game needs them in the gutter. I know they can be hard to program, but man, if Dambo can do it, so can all y'all. So, yeah, of course, you know, I'm not a dev. I know nothing about being a dev. All I know about is what I like. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for sticking around with me, because I know that this was a long one. But yeah, I just, you know, I'll stop being so thankful after this one. I'll go back to being a fucking asshole after this. So I really hope that you guys are doing well, and thank you for sticking it out with me. All right, have a good day.